Ladies and gentle nerds, I'm seeing some good stuff with that 3 Nexus play. As a bonus, in part 3, I'm going to check out a little variant of it. And all of you know what the plural of bonus is. Boni. Alright, we got first. Against one of my favorite players of all time, CM Storms Pulte. Once upon a time, first one for 3 Nexus. Let's see how he'll do it in this. Here's the things I want you to know. One is, again, this mix of metagame versus recognition. This is the first thing we're going to see. First is going to be going gateway first, no gas, expand. There's the gateway. There's the scout. On this map, very common for everyone to be doing macro-oriented stuff because it's so hard to find where your opponent is. Great. Good stuff. So nifty. We're going to see some more recognition. Another thing I want you to be aware of as we go on with this 3 Nexus is that even though we're going to see first do something different, we're still going to be acknowledging some of these timings of vulnerability. We need some big, scary amount of units, or we still have a scary amount of units rolling in with medevacs around 10 minutes. So we got to get something juicy like a Colossus done by then. What happens at around 12? Well, he's going to have a lot of medevacs with drop ships, or a lot of Marine Marauder with drop ships. So we're going to have some versatile, be in a lot of places defense. That's what we saw blink in last game. A lot of our decisions get forced for us when we do this. And the last thing I want to know, when did we go Tempest? When it looked like our opponent had his 4 bases up and was going to have enough gas to get a lot of Ghost Viking. Not going to be the case in this game, and as I said then, we can stick easily with just Gateway Colossus tech. Let's see it all in action. We're going to be going through this one a little bit quickly, but remember, anytime you see a player make a relatively strong decision, such as 3 Nexus, or something along those lines, all his other maneuvers must be proportionately significant. So we see a little scouting Prubel. He's going to poke on it. Oh, fantastic. He sees this command center. I want to just note, just do the ever so slightest bit of notaging. Zealot. See the Zealots in production? Boom. Totally lets it finish. Yeah, we did get the chance to see that there was this command center up. Only just barely. First didn't quite have enough time. In the last game, we noted, holy crud, first went for Mothership Core and Stalker and Warp Gate. Even though 3 Nexus, people like to define as a corner-cutty build order, it doesn't mean that all corners are cut. First is just sort of very calmly noting, not with any real pressure on himself, oh yeah, that guy expanded, great. So now we have some knowledge. We have some knowledge all up on us. Interesting thing to note. We don't see a Mothership Core. Why is that? First is going to do a different 3 Nexus build. He's going to get Stargate up. Rather than try to scout in the main base and then use the Mothership Core for defense, he's going to be just blasting straight on in with offense. Alright, little damage being dealt. No huge risks with this Zealot. Very gentle pushings with a single Stalker. Second Stalker coming out. Now, why the second Stalker? Well, we don't have the Mothership Core to help do those contains on the ground, to help reinforce our first Scout Stalker. We're going to see first. Alright, cool. He's going to be applying a ton of pressure. No gas guys as yet. And doink, it'll be going down soon. Second Oracle. Now, here's where things look a little bit disorganized. I honestly would look at a situation like this and say, I mean, like my instinct, if I were some fool that didn't watch like 4 or 5 hours of StarCraft a day, I might look at this and go, okay, wait, you're going Oracles and Stalkers for pressure. And then you're expanding. There needs to be consistency here. But let's simplify things. We're going 3 Nexus. How do we stay alive on 3 Nexus? 10 and 12 are these really big scary moments. And there's one other scary one if our opponent gets a bunch of barracks and just attacks us early. Let's actually take a look in the game. This is a potential threat. Oops. This is a potential threat. A bunch of Marines with some Marauders moving out. Like, what if this was concussive shell? It was almost done, and First just began, our Pulp began barreling down First. It would be kind of a tough situation to be in. So first, by getting a single Oracle, and then wanting to take a third, no, if he wants a third, he's going to have to get the second Oracle for defense. This is a very defensive maneuver right here. We see the two Stalkers trying to do the contain. We see the Nexus coming up. We don't see any sentries. We don't see that tool for defense being established yet. Last thing that pops up is the Mothership Core. This is going to be the defensive tool against that sort of Marine Marauder push. And then, of course, we're going to need some extra gas if we want to be able to, well, if we want to be able to do anything. 7-minute guys are still going down. Let's be aware of those 10 and 12-minute marks. Wow, I really got to speed up. I'm going to be running out of time. So we see just some nice harassment from First. This is one of these builds that feels physically impossible if you are a less than stellar Terran. This feels like the most unfair thing in the universe. Notice how if any push was coming earlier, this second Oracle would have been home for defense. This first Oracle would have done massive damage. That is why that second Oracle is down. Wow, we got to get defense up for that 10-minute mark. Let's get these gateways up. Let's get that Robo up, man. We need to have a lot of gateways worth of stuff. Okay, cool. Wow. There's a second Robo being produced, but that's an error. That gets canceled in a second. And there's the Robo coming down. Oops. We're starting to notice, wow, yeah. 5 gateways going down immediately. And the Robo Bay going down immediately. First is just rushing for all that leftover defense. At the 10-minute mark, he's not going to be having a whole lot of Colossus up. He's not actually even going to have 1 up. We see even more gateways popping up. Rather than go for 3 gates with Blink, we just see 7 gates. Rather than try to rush out a Colossus with +1 armor, we have 7 gates. It's not as sophisticated seeming. It's like, okay, so first I'm going to be finesseful with Stalkers. Then I'm going to surprise him with Oracles and use my superior multitasking to hit his front and hit his back. Ooh. And then I'm going to get 7 fucking gateways because I might die otherwise. Massing gateways is almost always a bad solution. I don't know why I always did that, or almost did that. The only reason it's okay here is because we have a 3rd base. Gateways is a great way to stagnate. One thing that's nice about going for Colossus is that not only do we stay alive at that mark, but Colossi help us later. Blink is good because not only does it help us stay alive at that 10 to 12 minute mark, but it's also useful later. So a lot of gateways. Oh geez, 8 gateways. Holy crud butts. Hold on to your buns. But the fact that we have this 3rd Nexus up is really what's assisting us. So, okay, cool. Just briefly noting, when do these geysers go down at this expo? When First has more than 16 probes there. Very easy. Very, very, very easy. Very easy. Easy. Alright, let's look at this gateway production. We see a lot of units getting produced out of them. A lot. And we're sort of seeing this odd mixture of defense. We're seeing a couple of gateway units at the 3rd. We're seeing a mothership core only with enough for 1 photon overcharge at the 2nd. See Colossus desperately being chrono boosted out. We have a pair of forges. We have a Twilight Council. That's sort of nifty. There's that photon charge. Barely sneaking our way up on up. Thank God we have 8 gates to be able to stay alive. But you know what? We really gotta play defensive. We gotta get the Twilight Council blink up. Just got out our first Colossus. Yeah, now we're starting to see the same sort of theme. Last thing is extended thermal lance. Oh, thank goodness. After all that, the Templar archives to go down. And now first is just in smashing good shape. One thing that's missing? Obazilla! Just 2. Not good. So we see the ring of pylons being thrown down by first. We see defense in the dark spaces. Speeding it up, cause I wanna take questions, getting up upgrades. He's getting 2 forges. Why? Cause he delayed his forge for so long. Whoop-a prisma. Per usual first, doing his fancy thing. Observer has spotted no 4th. Probe has spotted a 3rd. Oh my god, envisioning the rocks. How remarkable. This is where we see the sort of first that, the first that made first famous. Which is not a lot of Colossus, but is a whole buttload of Templar and a buttload of counterattacks. When he sees all the units moving in, he sends his units down to yo base. Some technical difficulties. Polt's doing a really good job. The Zealots aren't doing amazingly, but believe me, they're doing some work. Now, this is some sort of nifty work that we're seeing out of Polt. That's great. But that's fine. We're just going to stick to our usual tenets. If I am up against someone who's relatively low on the base count, i.e. 3, I'm just going to stay with my Templar Colossus tech. Warp Prism, harass. Counter, warp in, harass. All my usual stuff. I'm rarely ever going to move out with my whole army, but when I do, I'm going to dash out and then break off some Zealots and pull back. He didn't do it there. Does it in other circumstances. A lot of expanding with this style. It's great because it's a counter-attacky style from first. Any tech up to Tempest? Nope. Noopity noopty nope. Oh. Ooh. More conservative play. Oh wait, look at that. We see an army moving here. I betcha we see a counter warping. Bet your butts. 12 gateways. Doesn't have as many as before. A couple died. Oh, there's the counter warping. Nice. Speed Zealot and Storming. This is a close game just because Polt's the man. Polt is the man and he gets it and I love him. I'm done. Okay, I'm just done with this daily. I did some fantastic analysis in part 1 and 2 and some pretty solid stuff for the first few minutes, but I'm done, man. My brain power's done. It's time to sing along because doing anything else would be wrong. I bet you want to warp in, but you can't. You don't have Storm. If you don't have Storm, don't counter warp in. If you don't have big AoE damage dealing big ass badasses, don't counter warp in. But if you do, ooh, if you do, etc. Polt's so good, what the hell? How are you so good, Polt? I don't know how you do it. First, not looking bad yourself, my friend. But the plus button will be your doom. Dunno, dunno, dunno. It didn't work. Oh my god, the counter warping, it didn't work. First, are you gonna win with more expansions? The answer is yes, I already know. Ah! But the tension is killing me. It's like rewatching season 2 of 24. A 4th base. What's this? What's this? 4th base is in the air. What's this? Expanding everywhere. What's this? Well, Terran is still kiting, and he's losing, and there's not much he can do about it. got it. Cool. Let's take some questions. Subscribers off. Oh my god, after this I think I might just become flat. Flying Pancake 2. Day 9. How does a Terran player engage or micro its way to kill the Protoss army? That in that first game. I don't think that there is a tremendously unique set of micro that can do it. I don't actually really know. I think the biggest thing of all to note is probably not Vikings. I think it's just a harder skew to the Ghost Marine Marauder side of things. Because you don't have a lot of speed zealots to deal with. I think weirdly maybe Marauders is probably the best choice. Just having some pretty thick numbers of Marauders. I don't know. I played this matchup from the Protoss side of things, and when I get that composition, I really lose a lot. It's really good. I don't know, guys. What do you think? What do you think would be a good one? I don't know. I mean, like, the answer I want to give is you should be more aggressive as the Terran player. I think that if Protoss gets to that mix, there ain't much that you can do. Boom, boom, boom. But the reason I would answer it as, okay, when you are in that position as the Terran, and your Protoss opponent does have that, I think it's just more the barracks units and less of the Vikings, because the Vikings are going to die pretty gosh darn damn frickin' ass quickly. And the Tempests are pretty hard to micro properly to pick off all the Vikings swiftly. Yeah, I just don't think there's that much complication to it, I think. Screw it. One more question, and then I'm going to go to sleep. Oh, Covert Muffin. Great question. It says, could you explain why you don't want to switch into Tempest tech until you have a high base count? Earlier you mentioned Tempests are bad at defending multi-pronged attacks, which is the main idea behind Terran Bio late game. Yes and no. The reason high base count is good for Tempest is that a high base count is more of the trigger than the reason. If you say, oh, I have a high base count, I should get Tempest, what you're really saying is, I have a high base count, which means I have had enough time to get Warp Gates, Storm Templar at all my bases, Cannons at my most vulnerable bases. It's all safe. The multi-pronged drops are not going to be a big threat anymore because the Cannons can begin firing, I can storm stuff, and I can warp in there. Nice. Cool. When it's low base count, you actually have not quite had the time to establish that level of control. I mean, as an example, I'm going to come to this, let's go here to the 13-minute mark. Come on. Come on. Okay, here we go. I mean, in this position, where everyone's still low on base count, I mean, if we just look around here, Storm hasn't been started yet. Well, okay, what if we zoom forward like a minute and a half to where Storm is done? I mean, there's so much vulnerability here. There hasn't been enough to get a big swell of cannons. We don't have a fourth base yet. We're still just struggling to stay alive as is. So, I mean, if we try to switch to Tempest, we don't have any of those necessary tools. So again, it's not we have a lot of bases, therefore a lot of bases means it's safe to get Templar. It's more like when we do have a lot of bases, it's implied that we have all this other key defensive shit. that lets us get our Tempests. Also, Tempests are expensive. You're all better gamers. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow for a little bit of Hero versus Heart.